as you know, our church was attacked physically, viciously, by a group of 10 to 12 white homo males. And I don't mean to be racist about this, but they were mainly all white and young, ages ranging probably from 21 to 31. They attacked our church on Sabbath morning, 12:30 in the morning on the Sabbath. They climbed across our fence and attacked our announcement board, taking down our freedom of speech statements regarding homosexuality and biblical verses supporting the stoning of homosexuals. They ripped it down, broke up the letters, and before climbing down off the sign, they wrote that God is gay, jumped back over the fence, and the 10 to 12 of white gay homos walked off. Now, the media picked this up. It was all over everywhere, television, radio, print media. There was a demonstration against our church this past weekend by a larger group of homos coming and asking the church for their stoning because they were homosexuals outside of our church. Now, a young black blogger, videographer, had some comments about me, about the event, about the amount of racism in the event he talks about. I want to let you listen to him outline what he thinks is going on and who he thinks I am, and I'm going to come back and clean it up with some comments. So roll that clip, if you will, please.
David Manning sent out a prayer request and had even mentioned in one of his videos that he received support from some of the black community. Isn't that something? Now, these are the same people that David Manning spoke ill against. See, it's funny when David Manning was speaking about the black community and was putting us down and was talking about how dumb and stupid and ignorant we were and how we need to be enslaved. Now that he is going through his, what I call a spiritual battle, because whenever you go against a certain type of spirit, that spirit is going to retaliate against you. See, it's not always talking about the government or the Bilderberg or the Illuminati. But when you speak against the dominant spirit, which is now homosexuality and lesbianism, you're going to get some sort of backlash. And they're going to come back very violent and negative towards you. See, the same spirit that the system supports is now attacking him. A lot of the same people that agreed with him and cheered with him when he was speaking about the black community are now coming against him violently. See, the black community did not attack his church or did not vandalize his church sign. But you find many of the gay population that supported him when he was self-hating and criticizing blacks are now calling him homophobic and saying that he hate gays. See, he got him on camera. And I didn't see not one black person out there protesting him. They're all the same people that were supporting David Manning. See, you can't speak ill against your community and then when you get hemmed up, expect for your community to back you. See, many of us, even the so-called black males and the so-called black females that speak out against our race, but then you get caught up in a bind and expect us to support you. This whole thing that's going on with Kobe Bryant. When Kobe Bryant was going through his ills and his trials and his allegations, the black community surrounded him, supported him. But then he makes a comment regarding Trayvon Martin and feels that blacks should not involve themselves unless they have the facts. But did you want the facts before the blacks supported you? See? So I'm going to put that link on the bottom. David Manning is going through a spiritual battle because, I mean, if you speak anything ill against the gay community, then you're going to suffer some type of backlash. You know, so for those of you who's seeking attention, and for those of you who want to be able to say that I'm suffering for righteousness' sake, then speak out against homosexuality. You don't have to speak out in hate against the individual persons. Just speak out against the act, and you will be attacked. So, feedback this video. Tell me what you think. Until next time.
All right. Okay. A couple of things here. One is, first of all, I want to thank the brother for his observations. I think I want to make a couple of corrections about his observations, and I'll do that in category in just a moment. If you are not aware of the statements by Kobe Bryant in an interview with New Yorker magazine, I believe it was, stated that he thought that rushing to support Trayvon Martin simply because he was African American was the wrong thing to do, and that he did not do that. And he condemned Black America for having done so. Simply because you're African American, you should get support, no matter whether you're right or wrong, is what Kobe tried to say. And this is what the young man is now using against Kobe, the way, in an ill way, he's wrong about Kobe. Kobe was absolutely right. And because actually, brother, you'd have to say the same thing about Dr. King. Dr. King said the same thing that Kobe is saying. Dr. King said, you know, you don't judge a man by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character. You don't support a man because of the color of his skin, but by the content of his character. So Kobe is right on this one, homie, and you are wrong. Now, in the latter statements you have made regarding the homosexual powers dwarfing the powers of the Illuminatis, the Bilderbergs, and New World Order, you are right to a large degree that the homosexual movement is more powerful in many ways, at least in an immediate area, than these other groups who have global ambitions. And you again are right. If you say something against homosexuals, they are going to attack you. I'll give you that again. And I appreciate your observation and by saying speak out and do it in the sense of righteousness, and not that you have to call any individual's name, which I've not done to date, except for Barack Hussein Obama. But you're right, they will attack. And I think we probably could have spent more time developing this, that the homosexual group, while they wield powers like the Illuminatis, the Bilderbergs, and the Rothschilds and others, are a very vicious, a very violent, extremely morally challenged group, more so than any other group. They're worse than the Nazis. I would be more comfortable sleeping in the camp with the Ku Klux Klan after they just did a hanging and a castration of a black man than I would in sitting down in a group of homosexuals at a wine and cheese tasting. Because the viciousness, the barbarism, the dysfunctional and the morally challenged homosexual people have not realized. They're coming out of the closet and people are going to realize. So you are right about them. And I might add that we have said a lot of things in this community on that announcement board. We've said a lot of things on YouTube over the years. As you very well know, we've said a lot of things against black people, as you have outlined. However, I don't think that your basic, your foundational understanding of what I say to black people is correct, but how we have said things about black people. We've even said that the Bible endorses slavery. But I got to tell you, you're all right. Black people have never attacked our church. They have never, over the years, they've said things, but they've never thrown a rock. They've never done what these homos, and they were mainly white, have done. And you would think here in Harlem that black people would have risen up and would have attacked our church, but they've never done that. 33 years, they have never once done anything violent. Now, they don't like what I say, and you know that they don't. You don't like what I say. So we need to understand, not that white people, but the homo is a violent, vicious, the homo is like a crackhead. He is physically, he is spiritually demon possessed, but he is morally and integrally and human decency, human species challenged. The homo is other. He doesn't belong to the human race. Now, he wasn't born that way, neither was the crackhead. But once the crackhead starts smoking crack, he'll rape, rob his grandmother and steal from anybody that he can steal from because he has no morals. He's absolutely challenged. Well, the homo is the exact same way as the crackhead. But there's a couple of things that you said. I never sent out a prayer that I remembered, and maybe I said something about praying. I don't know if I've called for a prayer under a duress that I'm under a spiritual crisis right now. I did not see the attack as anything more than just barbarism by barbarians of the white homosexual group. And again, not to be racist. But let me say something to you, brother, about why I speak against black folk the way I do. You know, I heard a joke from an old preacher many, many years ago who said that there was a farmer plowing the mule, and the mule stopped in the middle of the field, and the farmer told the mule to get up, let's go, keep on plowing, and the mule wouldn't move. So the farmer went and got a 2x4 and hit the mule across the head with a 2x4, and the mule said, "What'd you do that for?" And the farmer says, "I want to get your attention." I don't think there's anybody in America that loves humanity and loves Americans as much as I do, both black and white. But I do love black Americans, and if you're going to just for the time being talk about black people and my love for them, I don't know anybody who has sacrificed as much, who loves as much black people as I do. But the reason why I talk the way I do, because my mama told me something many years ago, my friend, the young man, my mama told me that the truth hurts. And my mama told me that, and then a whole lot of other people in my neighborhood growing up as a boy there in North Carolina told me the truth hurts. And all I've done is spoken the truth about the black race, about black people, about black leadership, about our failings, about, you know, I think it's Robin, the sidekick of Howard Stern, said, "I'm a self-hater." That's the response. It's kind of, self-hating is kind of like, if you can't call me an Uncle Tom, call me a self, and both of those terms are misnomers. I don't hate myself. But when I say to people like Gibbons and you and others that 80% of the homes are headed by black women and the black man is nowhere to be found, why is that hatred? If I say that there are more killings by black on black crime in Chicago where Louis Farrakhan, Oprah Winfrey, Jesse Jackson, and Barack Obama makes their home, why is that self-hatred? If I say there's been a systemic problem in Africa in terms of our individual development and contributions to humankind, if I say that the black elders and kings and princes sold black youth and women to the slave traders, there ain't no way on God's green earth 40 white men on a boat can come into the Mandingo country and take away 500 people and put them in the bottom of a boat and live to tell about it. They were sold by the black man and the black kings and elders. Why is that self-hatred? If I talk about the fact that black people have lost Harlem, rather than our leaders teaching us to be capitalists and entrepreneurs and investment in houses and business and a business pattern and structure and principles that cause people to want to purchase our products and hire us as they do in the sports arena, and yet we are the most bereft, we're at the bottom of the barrel, we're the most economically challenged people on the planet here in America. Why is that self-hatred, homie? Why is that self-hatred? Is it because the energy I put behind it when I say it? Hey man, I live. When they jump across our fence here in the church, I was in the building. I lived. I ain't like these other preachers that get 2 nickels, buy a Cadillac, and then run and live in a white neighborhood like Al Sharpton does. He's the one that hates black folk and don't want to live around them. Cornel West and all, they hate black folk and they live in the white neighborhood. But I've lived here consistently for 35 years, homie. Why am I a hater? You see? I ask you to listen carefully to what I've just said. And as far as a spiritual crisis, you know, I'm the Lord's servant. These are just demons. But I think it's important, you pointed up the fact that black people have never, ever attacked me the way these white folk did. I think it's important that the world knows that. But it's also important to know, my friend, that when these homos came outside of our church protesting on Saturday while we were having worship and saying prayers and singing songs and reading the scripture, a group of black men who are not members of our church, but members of the community, chased these faggots out of our community. The black men, they know me, they see me every day. They don't come into church because of whatever reason, but they stood up for me. So I think what you've said is well taken. And by the way, my name is James David Manning. A lot of people see me as just David the liar, the Goliath killer. I know everybody calls me David, but my first name is James. I got that from my granddaddy. So I thank you for your observations. Maybe we can talk again. You're right. Not only are homos barbarians, but they're racist as well, and they don't care nothing about God. After all, this is a church, and after all, the Constitution does provide for freedom of speech. I should be able to say they don't have to agree with it, but for them to violently and viciously and barbarically come across our fence and attack our church like that says something about what the true nature of homosexuals really is. And so thank you.